All right, today's video, we're going to dive headfirst into the split screen controversy that got Forza in hot water, especially against Gran Turismo 7. Does it matter? Does it not matter? Is it a big deal? Is Gran Turismo blowing Forza out of the water? Or again, is it not a big deal? I don't know. We're going to talk about it here in just a second. We're also going to jump in today into Xbox leading the charge over in Japan. They beat out PlayStation in Japan for another week. That's absolutely huge news. And finally, let's discuss EA's CEO's statement about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. They don't have a problem with it, which is... Hello. Nobody else has a problem with it except for PlayStation. So we're going to just talk about those things. Let's jump into Forza Motorsport first. This is a really interesting take over at purexbox.com. I really love those guys. Go check them out. purexbox.com by Ben Carey. Very solid take. And basically what has happened is Gran Turismo 7 has had what they're calling their largest update ever. And part of that update is bringing 4-player co-op to Gran Turismo 7. Now, Gran Turismo 7 dropped 18 months ago. Forza Motorsport has just dropped, and it was built from the ground up for these next-generation consoles, yet seems to be lacking some of the features, i.e. split-screen co-op, that Gran Turismo 7 has. Now, keep in mind, Gran Turismo 7 has always had split-screen, but now they're moving it to 4-player split-screen co-op, which is a pretty big deal and a pretty large technical feat there. I take the position that I don't think that many people play co-op anymore on same screen. I just don't. Is it a nice added feature? Yes, but let's put it this way. I have kids, and I don't remember, even with my kids, I don't remember the last time I played split screen co-op with them. They're not old enough to play some of the games that have split screen co-op, but I genuinely don't think it's a big deal. I think we're moving away from that. I'll be perfectly honest too. I would rather the resources that would go into a split screen co-op go into other things. Now, I guess the way that you would do it is during split screen co-op, perhaps resolution comes down, perhaps frame rate comes down, stuff like that. So maybe it is a point that it is a feature that is missing from Forza. But let's take a look at Pure Xbox's take here, and they have this statement here at the end of this article that I think is interesting. Ben says it's not just the feature itself, it's also optics. The fact that Sony's Premier Racer is soon to feature 4-player local co-op, whilst Forza Motorsport has no option at all, isn't the best look, especially for a game marketed as, quote, built from the ground up next-gen racing experience. We're not saying it's over for Turn 10 or anything. We just hope the team cracks on with adding features and generally improving the Xbox Game Pass title for Forza fans. They go on to say that they think they're going to be able to do that. And it is a valid point. While I don't think split screen is that big of a deal, it is a valid point that a game that released 18 months ago seemingly has more features than your new, sexy, flashy, polished, supposedly built from the ground up next-gen racer has. And when you're talking about, these are direct competitions because one represents PlayStation, one represents Xbox. They're both premier racers on both. They're both considered premier racers on both. And so naturally they're going to be compared. In fact, when Forza Motorsport was first dropped, it was being compared visually to Gran Turismo. And Gran Turismo is a beautiful game. No doubt. It looks really good. And some people were saying, hey, Forza doesn't look as good. Then you go on and natural comparison is graphics, and other players were posting graphics of Forza and saying, look at how much, these graphics crush Gran Turismo, et cetera, et cetera. So you always have this natural back and forth. But I do think there is a point to be made, just like Pure Xbox and Ben makes here over at Pure Xbox, that when push comes to shove, Gran Turismo does have more features, and it is the perception. Perception becomes reality, and if your competition can tout features that you don't have, it does put you at a disadvantage and puts you on defense. And so I think that's a good point. Optics totally matters here for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what Forza Motorsport does. Forza Motorsport is a fantastic game. It's a 10 out of 10 in my book. It's an amazing racer. I'm working my way through it at the moment. Love it. Love every minute of it. I think it's very well polished. Feels good. It's a Forza creme de la creme game. But it is lacking features that Gran Turismo has. That's just a reality. I will say, I do think this is why competition is important, because one is forcing the other. Would Gran Turismo have this big of an update had Forza not existed in the first place? Would we even be talking about Forza and asking, hey, what's coming here? What's Forza going to do in response to this? This is what drives and forces these developers to make even better experiences than we otherwise would have, and I'm excited to see where Forza goes from here. No doubt, Forza, 10 out of 10 for me. A lot of people say I've never played Gran Turismo 7, that it's better than Gran Turismo 7. I don't know. I have to take their word for it. But Gran Turismo does have more features at this point. You just have to admit it. And while I don't think the local co-op is that big of a deal, it is a feature that is glaring. And when making that comparison, it's a weakness that Gran Turismo fans and PlayStation fans are going to be able to point to. So would love to know what you guys think on that. Do you think that's as big of a deal as being made out? Do you think it's not a big deal? Do you think it does matter? It doesn't matter? Have you played both games? Where are you at with those? Let me know in the comments below on those. But let's jump over to the next story here. This comes courtesy of Video Games Chronicle, and the Xbox Series X and S has outsold the PS5 in Japan for the fourth time. Now, they say only the fourth time. However, only the fourth time is a big deal because traditionally the Xbox doesn't outsell them. Now, here is what, according to Famitsu's weekly charts, which is a Japanese agency, 2,903 Series X and 398 Series S consoles were sold in Japan last week for 3,301 compared to PlayStation 5's combined total of 2,933. There could be some extenuating circumstances. Maybe PlayStation wasn't as available. That's what VGC points out here. However, it is another week where the Xbox has sold out PlayStation. It's not even close to what Nintendo's doing, though. Nintendo is dominating the Japanese market. Look at this. In that same week, so PlayStation has 2,900. Xbox has 3,300 units sold in a week. You're thinking, oh, a few thousand a week? That's pretty good numbers. No. This week, 66,161 Switch units were sold in Japan. They're not even in the ballpark. So we've talked before about, does a closer relationship between Xbox and Nintendo matter? That's why it matters right there. Nintendo dominates that market, is dominating that market. It's not even close. 66,000 to a piddly 3,000 and 2,000 respectively, and it's not even close. So if Xbox were ever to get Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch or work more closely with them to where they can make inroads in that Japanese market space, it would be absolutely huge because of the size and scope that Nintendo is. And the Nintendo Switch is just absolutely dominating. We don't traditionally include them in the console wars because it does very feel much like Xbox versus PlayStation, and then Nintendo has always done its own thing. Nintendo always succeeds at doing its own thing, but they're absolutely crushing it, particularly in the Japanese market. So well done to them. It is good to see that Xbox is making inroads and remaining pretty steady for the most part there, while PlayStation does beat them out most months. It is nice to see some months where the Xbox is doing well, and I think they're having as much success as they had with the 360 at this point. Which is good to see because the 360 was its most successful Japanese console. Good to see. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's definitely going to take time. And then let's finish with this story. This is again a pure Xbox story. They're on fire. Well done, pure Xbox today. But the EA CEO did an interview over at CNBC. They asked him about what does the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition mean, and I keep saying Xbox, it's Microsoft technically, but it's fun to say Xbox. What does it mean for the industry? Did it matter? Were they threatened by it? And the CEO said, no, we weren't threatened by this. We kind of operate outside of this. It doesn't matter for us. But then they were asked, what does this mean for future collaborations or acquisitions? And here is what the CEO of EA said. He said, quote, I think that Microsoft and Activision is a great thing. It means that one of the world's largest companies is going to continue to invest in our industry to help us grow the industry over time. That's an interesting point to me because what what all these CEOs are saying, whether it's Steam, whether it's Ubisoft, whether it's EA or Microsoft, who all said, yeah, not a problem with this, is that like they're going to help us grow the industry. We've not hit the ceiling of the gaming industry. That's mind-boggling. Gaming is absolutely huge, and we're not even close to the ceiling of it. So interesting that he mentions that. He continues, but as we think about our position, this is EA's position, certainly as an independent developer and publisher of the world's leading interactive entertainment content, we feel really good about our opportunity, and to the extent that there are opportunities for us to be acquisitive, meaning making acquisitions, we would, of course, look to those. Now, EA is really not through. EA is a powerhouse in the mobile gaming space. Xbox just became a powerhouse with their acquisition of Activision, because I think the actual big part of that was King. They acquired King, which is huge in the mobile space. So it's gonna be interesting. Does EA pick up any additional gaming studios here? Regardless, I think the interesting thing in all the common thread between all the people that did not have a problem with this acquisition is that there's no ceiling yet. We've not yet hit the ceiling, and that this is going to help grow gaming overall, which is very, very exciting. I think it's a good point that shows, one of the world's largest company is investing in gaming. All of the world's largest companies are, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Apple, Microsoft, they're all investing in gaming. They're all double downing on gaming. Double downing? Doesn't sound correct, but they're doing it. I think it's big. I think the future of console gaming is only going to improve. I think the future in gaming overall is definitely moving towards a subscription-based model. I've always been about that. I think that's the right move. But these stories I just find interesting because you have one of the world's largest game developers saying they don't have a problem with it, that it's no threat to them. In fact, they see it as helpful. That's huge. I think that's big, and it's exciting for gamers everywhere. So I'd love to know what you guys think. What do you think about any of these stories, from Forza to Japan to EA? What did I miss here? What did I get wrong? What did I get right? Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you like this video, if you like what we're doing here, if you're a fan of Xbox, this is the channel for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer, and I'll see you guys next time.